Layla's hands trembled as she held the shattered wineglass, crimson liquid spreading across the white marble floor like blood. The restaurant manager's voice grew louder with each word, his face twisted in rage just inches from hers. She could feel every eye in the five-star establishment burning into her back, but none burned quite like the pair of steel-grey eyes watching from the corner booth. "You clumsy, worthless—" the manager spat, his words cutting deeper than the glass that had sliced her palm. She didn't dare look up, didn't dare defend herself. She needed this job. Her daughter needed medicine. But then she heard it, the scrape of a chair, the sudden silence that fell over the room like a guillotine, and footsteps that seemed to make the floor itself hold its breath. When Layla finally raised her eyes, she saw him, Asher Rain, the man whose reservation had shut down half the restaurant, whose presence had made even the owner nervously adjust his tie. And he was walking straight toward her. If you want to discover how this encounter changed everything, and what happened when the most powerful man in the city decided that no one humiliates a woman in his presence, subscribe to the channel and leave a comment telling us where you're watching from. Every view helps bring more stories like this one. 3 hours earlier, Layla had stood in the employee bathroom of Luminare, staring at her reflection and trying to convince herself she could survive another night. The black uniform hung loose on her frame. She'd lost weight she couldn't afford to lose, skipping meals so her 6-year-old daughter Mia could eat. Dark circles shadowed her eyes, despite the concealer she'd carefully applied that morning. "You got this," she whispered to herself, straightening the white collar that marked her as service staff, as invisible as beneath notice. Luminare wasn't just any restaurant. It was the restaurant, the kind of place where senators dined with tech moguls, where deals worth millions were sealed over courses that cost more than Layla made in a week. She'd been lucky to get the job 2 months ago, even if it was just as a floor maid, cleaning up after the beautiful people who never looked her in the eye. The money was better than her morning shift at the hospital laundry, better than the weekend gig cleaning offices downtown. But it still wasn't enough. Not for the medication Mia needed for her asthma, not for the back rent piling up, not for the notice from the electric company threatening disconnection. "Bennett!" Marcus, the floor manager, snapped his fingers at her as she emerged from the bathroom. "VIP section needs immediate attention, and for God's sake, try to be invisible." Layla nodded, grabbing her cleaning cart. Being invisible was something she'd perfected over the years. Single mother, 2 jobs turning into 3, living in a neighborhood where gunshots were the nighttime lullaby. Invisibility was survival. The VIP section occupied the entire back corner of Luminare, separated by frosted glass panels that suggested privacy while maintaining the illusion of inclusion. As Layla pushed her cart through the heavy doors, she felt the atmosphere change. The air itself seemed thicker here, weighted with power and money. She kept her eyes down, focusing on her tasks, wipe down the unused tables, refresh the flowers, make sure every surface gleamed. Don't look at the guests. Don't exist. But then she heard it, a voice that seemed to carry its own gravity. "Clear the section, all of it. I don't care about their reservations." Layla's hands froze on the table she was cleaning. She couldn't help it. She looked up. He sat in the corner booth like a king on a throne, and everything about him screamed danger wrapped in Italian wool. His suit probably cost more than her car, if her car still ran. Dark hair styled with casual precision, a jawline that could cut glass, and those eyes, grey like storm clouds, like steel, like nothing she'd ever seen before. Asher Rain. She'd heard the whispered name, seen the way the owner himself had personally overseen the table setting, watched how even the veteran waiters moved with careful deference. Nobody said exactly what he did, but everyone knew what he was. Power, violence, control. 6 men flanked him, all wearing similar suits, all carrying themselves with the kind of alertness that suggested weapons hidden beneath tailored jackets. But it was him, Asher, who commanded the space, who made everyone else fade into insignificance. "You, the maid." Layla's heart stopped. He was looking directly at her. "Sir," her voice came out smaller than she intended. "Come here." Every survival instinct screamed at her to run, but her feet moved forward. She was acutely aware of her cheap uniform, her worn shoes, the way she didn't belong in this world of champagne and caviar. "What's your name?" His voice was surprisingly smooth, almost gentle, which somehow made him more terrifying. "Layla, sir. Layla Bennett. Layla." He said it like he was tasting the word, testing its weight. "How long have you worked here?" 2 months, sir." His eyes traveled over her face with an intensity that made her want to disappear. She could feel him noticing everything, the too thin frame, the exhaustion she couldn't quite hide, the small bandage on her finger from where she'd cut herself on broken glass last week. "You're working 2 other jobs," he said. It wasn't a question. How did you—" "Hospital laundry service badge in your pocket. Cleaning company logo on your shoes different from this establishment's contractor." He leaned back, still watching her with those unsettling eyes. 3 jobs. You have a child." Layla felt her blood run cold. How could he possibly know that? "The small handprint on your bag," he continued, as if reading her mind. "Glitter paint. And you checked your phone 4 times in the last 10 minutes, always with the same worried expression. Someone you care about." "My daughter." The words escaped before she could stop them. "She's with a neighbor. She has asthma, and I worry. How old?" 6. Something shifted in his expression, gone too quickly for her to identify. "Go back to your work. Layla Bennett, but stay in this section tonight." It was clearly a dismissal, but his tone had changed somehow, softened in a way that confused her more than anything else he'd said. The rest of the evening passed in a blur of tension. Layla remained in the VIP section as instructed, hyper-aware of Asher's presence even when she wasn't looking at him. She caught him watching her 3 times, his gaze calculating, measuring something she couldn't begin to understand. Around 8:30, everything changed. Marcus appeared in the VIP section, his face flushed with alcohol and anger. Layla had learned to read his moods, knew he'd been drinking in the manager's office, knew he was looking for someone to take his frustrations out on. Tonight, that someone was her. "What the hell is this?" He grabbed a wine glass from the table Layla had just cleaned, holding it up to the light. "You call this clean? There's a spot. A goddamn spot." "I'm sorry, sir. You'll what? Do your job right for once?" He was getting louder, drawing attention. Layla felt her face burning with humiliation as other diners began to stare. "Do you have any idea how much these glasses cost? More than you make in a month, I guarantee it." "Marcus, please, I'll clean it again." "Damn right you will." He shoved the glass toward her. That's when it happened. His hand, unsteady with drink, knocked against her arm. The glass fell, seeming to tumble in slow motion before shattering against the marble floor. Red wine splashed across the white surface like an accusation. The restaurant went silent. "You clumsy, worthless—" Marcus's voice rose to a roar, his face contorting with rage. He stepped toward her and Layla instinctively stepped back, her heel landing in the spreading wine. She slipped, felt herself falling. Strong hands caught her before she hit the ground. Layla looked up into steel-grey eyes that had gone winter cold. "I think," Asher Rain said quietly, his voice carrying despite its softness, "you need to step away from her now." The restaurant held its breath. Layla could feel Asher's hands still on her arms, steadying her, their warmth seeping through her thin uniform. She'd never been this close to him before, close enough to see the small scar above his left eyebrow, to smell the expensive cologne that probably cost more than her rent, to feel the controlled strength in his grip. Marcus had gone pale, all the drunken bravado draining from his face. "Mr. Rain, I apologize for the disturbance. This employee apologized to her." The words fell like stones into still water. What?" "You heard me." Asher's voice remained soft, but there was something underneath it that made Layla's spine tingle with awareness of danger. "You pushed her, you caused the glass to fall, and then you blamed her for your mistake. Apologize." "Sir, with all due respect, do I look like I'm asking?" The temperature in the room seemed to drop 10 degrees. Layla watched Marcus's face cycle through emotions, anger, fear, calculation. She wanted to tell Asher it was fine, that she was used to this, that making a scene would only make everything worse, but the words stuck in her throat. "I apologize." Marcus finally muttered, not looking at her. Louder, and to her face. Marcus's jaw clenched so hard Layla could hear his teeth grinding. I apologize, Layla. Good. Asher's hands finally released her arms, leaving cool spots where his warmth had been. Now go get the owner. Tell him Asher Rain would like a word. Marcus practically ran from the VIP section. The other diners had gone back to pretending they weren't watching, but Layla could feel the weight of their attention anyway. She stood frozen, unsure what to do, aware that she was standing in a puddle of wine and broken glass, that her hands were shaking, that she wanted to sink through the floor and disappear. Sit, Asher said, gesturing to the chair across from him. I can't, I'm working. I need to clean this up. My men will handle it. He nodded to one of the 6 men in suits, who immediately pulled out his phone. Sit down before you fall down, you're shaking. She was. Layla sank into the chair, hyper-aware that she was sitting at a table with Asher Rain, that this was wrong on so many levels, that she could lose her job for this. But she was also exhausted, running on 3 hours of sleep and skipped meals, and the adrenaline from the confrontation was making her lightheaded. When did you last eat? Asher asked. This morning. Lie. Layla's eyes snapped to his. Yesterday, she admitted quietly. I had crackers yesterday. His expression didn't change, but something flickered in those grey eyes. He gestured to another one of his men, who immediately headed toward the kitchen. You're going to eat, and then we're going to talk. About what? About why you're working yourself to death for minimum wage, when you clearly have more intelligence than half the people in this room. You don't know anything about me. I know you're educated. The way you speak, your posture, the book in your bag, advanced biochemistry. I know you're desperate but proud. You haven't asked anyone here for help even though you clearly need it. And I know someone hurt you badly enough that you've convinced yourself invisibility is the same thing as safety. Layla felt like he'd reached into her chest and pulled out her secrets. How? I pay attention. It's what keeps people like me alive. The owner appeared then, Gerald Thornton, a man who usually exuded confidence but now looked like he wanted to be anywhere else. Mr. Rain, I understand there was an incident. Your floor manager assaulted one of your employees and then attempted to blame her for his mistake. I want him fired. Tonight. Sir, Marcus has been with us for 5 years, and now he's been with you for 5 years and 1 evening. Are we clear? Gerald's face cycled through several expressions before settling on resignation. Perfectly clear, sir. I'll handle it immediately. Good. And Layla Bennett is being promoted. She'll work directly for me, managing events in VIP sections and handling special projects. Her salary will be 4 times what you're currently paying her. You'll provide health insurance that covers pre-existing conditions, including childhood asthma. The room spun. Layla grabbed the edge of the table. I don't understand. Why would you? Because I can. Because I want to. Because watching someone with your intelligence clean floors is a waste of resources. Asher's eyes met hers, and she saw something there she couldn't quite name. Do you accept? I don't even know what the job would be. Whatever I need. Sometimes that's managing events in VIP sections. Sometimes it's research. Sometimes it's just being present when I need someone who sees details others miss. He leaned forward slightly. I don't make this offer lightly, Layla, and I don't make it to just anyone. But why me? Because in the 30 seconds between when I told you to sit and when you actually sat, you mapped every exit in this room, identified which of my men are armed and which aren't, and calculated approximately how long it would take to reach the kitchen door if you needed to run. His smile widened at her shocked expression. You think I didn't notice? You have instincts most people spend years training for, and you're wasting them on minimum wage. Food arrived then. Not the scraps Layla expected, but a full meal. Pasta in cream sauce, grilled vegetables, fresh bread that smelled like heaven. Eat, Asher commanded gently. We can discuss details after you've had actual food. Layla wanted to refuse, wanted to maintain her pride, her independence, but her stomach betrayed her with a loud growl, and she saw something like understanding flash across Asher's face. She ate, and as she did, she became aware of him watching her with that same calculating intensity, like he was solving a puzzle only he could see. Your daughter, he said after she'd taken several bites. Mia, right? I saw her name on your phone screen. Layla's fork froze halfway to her mouth. How do you know? I notice things. It's my job to notice things. He paused. If you work for me, Mia gets the best medical care available, private doctors, access to specialists, no more worrying about whether you can afford her inhaler. Why? The word came out as barely a whisper. Why do you care? For the first time, Asher's expression shifted into something vulnerable, something almost painful. Because I know what it's like to watch someone you love struggle to breathe and feel completely helpless to stop it. The moment stretched between them, heavy with shared understanding. Then his phone buzzed, breaking the spell. He glanced at it, and his expression hardened into something cold and lethal. Problem? Layla asked before she could stop herself. Always. He stood, buttoning his suit jacket. I need to handle something. But this conversation isn't over. My driver will take you home tonight. Tomorrow, you start your new position. I haven't agreed. You will. He said it with such certainty that it didn't even sound arrogant, just factual. Because you're smart enough to know a genuine opportunity when you see one. And because despite everything life has thrown at you, you haven't given up yet. You're a fighter, Layla Bennett. I respect that. He started to walk away, then paused and turned back. One more thing. That neighbor watching Mia tonight? She's 73, has arthritis and can barely afford her own medication. You're paying her what little you have. And she's doing it because she cares about you. That ends now. Starting tomorrow, Mia has a proper caretaker whenever you're working. Professional, vetted, and paid by me. How do you possibly know? But he was already gone, his men falling into formation around him like a well-oiled machine. An hour later, Layla found herself in the back of a black SUV with leather seats and a driver who hadn't spoken a single word. She clutched her cheap purse, still wearing her uniform, trying to process everything that had happened. Her phone buzzed. Unknown number. Make sure Mia uses her inhaler before bed and eat breakfast tomorrow. Real breakfast, not crackers. AR. Layla stared at the message. Something warm and terrifying blooming in her chest. Asher Rain had swept into her life like a hurricane, upending everything she thought she knew about survival and safety. And the most terrifying part, she was already starting to fall. The next morning, Layla stood outside the address Asher had texted her at 6 a.m., a sleek high-rise in the heart of the city's most exclusive district. The building's glass facade reflected the sunrise like a mirror, and a doorman in a uniform nicer than her Sunday best regarded her with professional courtesy. Ms. Bennett, Mr. Rain is expecting you. Penthouse level. The elevator was glass-walled, offering views of the city as it rose. Layla watched the streets shrink below her, feeling like she was ascending into another world entirely. The doors opened directly into the penthouse. Layla stepped out and forgot how to breathe. The space was massive, all floor-to-ceiling windows and modern furniture that probably cost more than her yearly salary. Art hung on the walls, real art, the kind she'd only seen in museums. The morning sun streamed through the windows, illuminating everything with golden light. And there was Asher, standing by the windows in dark slacks and a white shirt with the sleeves rolled up, looking unfairly beautiful in the morning light. He was on the phone, speaking in rapid Italian that Layla's rusty college education could barely follow. His tone was cold, commanding, nothing like the almost gentle voice he'd used with her last night. He ended the call and turned, his expression softening when he saw her. You came. You didn't really give me a choice. There's always a choice, Layla. You could have run. Most people would have. Most people aren't desperate enough to take jobs from criminals, she shot back. But Asher just smiled. No, most people aren't brave enough. There's a difference. He gestured to the dining area, where breakfast was laid out. Eat first, then we talk. You have a thing about feeding people. I have a thing about people not starving to death on my watch. Sit. Layla sat, acutely aware of him settling across from her. The food tasted incredible. Tell me about Mia, Asher said. Why? Because she's the most important thing in your life. I need to understand what motivates you. Layla set down her fork. She's 6. Smart as a whip, loves dinosaurs and anything purple. She wants to be a paleontologist when she grows up. Her voice softened. Her father left when I was 4 months pregnant, said he wasn't ready to be tied down. His loss. The simple statement made something in Layla's chest crack open. What did you have growing up? He asked. Foster care. 7 different homes between ages 8 and 18. She met his eyes. So yes, I know about survival, about invisibility, about doing whatever it takes. Your education? Full scholarship to state, biochemistry. I was going to be a researcher, cure diseases, change the world. Her laugh was bitter. Then I got pregnant and reality had other plans. You could finish with my resources. With what time, what money? With mine, both. He leaned forward. Layla, I didn't bring you here just to work VIP sections. I brought you here because you're smart, observant, and wasted on minimum wage. If you want to finish your degree, I'll make it happen. Why do you care? Because I recognize potential when I see it. Because wasting intelligence is a crime worse than most things I actually get charged with. His gray eyes were intense. And because when that glass fell last night, you didn't scream, you didn't cry. You started calculating how to fix the situation. That kind of thinking, that's rare, valuable. In your world, the criminal world. In any world, but especially mine, yes. He didn't flinch. I won't lie to you, Layla. What I do isn't legal. What I run isn't safe. The people I deal with are dangerous, and violence is a language we all speak fluently. But it's also a world of loyalty, of honor codes, of protection for those who earn it. And you think I want protection? I think you need it. I think you've been fighting alone for so long you've forgotten what it's like to have someone in your corner. He paused. I'm offering you that corner. No strings, no expectations beyond doing the job I hire you for. Before Layla could respond, the elevator chimed. A woman in professional attire stepped out holding Mia's hand. Mommy! Mia broke free and ran, launching herself into Layla's arms. Layla held her daughter tight, breathing in the familiar scent of her strawberry shampoo. Hey, baby, you okay? I rode in a really cool car, and the nice lady let me pick out breakfast. I had chocolate chip pancakes. Mia pulled back, then noticed Asher. Who's that? That's Mr. Rain, he's my new boss. You have pretty eyes, Mia announced, studying Asher. They're like storm clouds. Asher crouched down, bringing himself to Mia's level. Layla watched something shift in his expression, becoming gentler. Thank you, Mia, and you have your mother's smile. Do you live here? It's so high up. I do. Would you like to see the view? At Layla's nod, Mia took his hand. Layla watched as this dangerous man pointed out landmarks to her daughter with surprising patience. See that building there? That's the Natural History Museum. They have dinosaur bones. Real ones? Real ones. How about a museum membership as part of your mom's benefits package? Mia's gasp was pure joy. She spun to Layla. Mommy, can we? Layla looked at Asher over her daughter's head. He genuinely wanted to give this to them. We'll see, she said. Later, Sandra, the professional childcare provider, stayed with Mia while Asher showed Layla the office where she'd work. You're never involved in anything that puts you at legal risk. That's a promise. Your job is legitimate, your income is clean. I own 17 legitimate businesses, Layla. Not everything I do is illegal. Just enough to be dangerous. Just enough to be effective. He met her eyes. I won't pretend I'm a good man. I've done things that would horrify you, but I have lines I don't cross, and I protect what's mine. I'm not yours. Not yet. The words hung heavy. But you could be, if you wanted. One condition, Mia never sees the violent side of what you do. Never. That's non-negotiable. Agreed. She'll be protected from all of it, you have my word. Asher stepped closer. In my world, your word is everything. Break it and you're dead. Keep it and you're untouchable. I've never broken a promise. His hand came up, fingers gentle as they tucked a strand of hair behind her ear. I won't start with you. The touch sent electricity through her skin. Okay, I'll take the job. But we go slow. We? His smile was dangerous, devastating. Interesting choice of words. You know what I mean. I do, and we'll go at whatever pace you need. I'm a patient man when it matters. He stepped back. But fair warning, Layla. I know what I want and I don't give up easily. 2 weeks into working for Asher Rain, Layla learned that the man had eyes everywhere. His businesses were as impressive as his illegal operations, and she was falling for him. It started small. The way he remembered Mia's favorite color and filled Layla's office with purple flowers. How he asked about her daughter every morning, genuinely interested. The protective way he positioned himself between her and anyone he didn't fully trust. But it was the night of the charity gala that everything changed. Layla stood in the penthouse guest room, barely recognizing herself. The dress Asher had sent was burgundy silk, elegant and expensive. She looked like she belonged in his world. "You're beautiful." Layla turned to find Asher in the doorway, devastating in a black tuxedo. His grey eyes traveled over her slowly, appreciatively. "The dress is too much," she protested. "The dress is perfect. You're perfect." He pulled out a jewelry box. "One more thing." The diamond necklace inside made her gasp. As he fastened it, his fingers warm against her skin, he explained, "We're attending the mayor's charity gala. Some very important people will be there, some very dangerous ones too. I need you to watch, listen, remember conversations. Can you do that? You want me to spy. I want you to observe. You see things others miss, Layla. I trust you in a way I trust very few people." "Why me?" "Really? Because you're the first person in 10 years who looked at me and saw a man instead of a monster." His voice was quiet, honest. "Because you challenge me. Make me want to be better than I am." The gala was exactly as Layla expected. Wealthy people in expensive clothes, champagne flowing freely. She stayed close to Asher, watching as he worked the room, noting how people reacted to him. Fear, respect, careful courtesy. But she also noticed the enemies, the men whose eyes followed Asher with calculation and malice. "Victor Kozlov, 3 o'clock, she murmured to Asher. "He's been watching you all night, and he's signaled to the same 2 men at least 4 times. Asher's approval was immediate. "Good catch. Kozlov runs the Russian operation. We've had disagreements about territory. Should we leave? Not yet, but stay close." The attack came an hour later in the most civilized way possible. Kozlov approached with a smile that didn't reach his eyes. "Rain. Lovely event, don't you think?" "Victor, I'm surprised you were invited." Kozlov's eyes slid to Layla. "And who is this beautiful creature? New acquisition?" Layla felt Asher go very still beside her, a dangerous kind of stillness. "Careful, Victor. Choose your next words very carefully. I meant no offense, simply admiring your taste." Kozlov's smile widened. "Though I wonder what a woman like her sees in a man like you. Perhaps she doesn't know what you really are, what you've done." "She knows enough." "Does she? Does she know about the warehouse fire in 2019? The 15 men who burned alive because Asher Rain doesn't negotiate?" Layla felt ice in her veins, but she kept her expression neutral. "I know he protects what's his, and I know starting a confrontation at the mayor's gala would be incredibly stupid for everyone involved." Kozlov's eyes narrowed. "Smart and beautiful. You should be careful, darling. Men like him don't love. They possess, and possessions get broken." Asher moved so fast Layla barely saw it. One moment he was beside her, the next he had Kozlov against the wall. "Listen carefully. You can insult me, question me, challenge me, but you do not threaten her ever. Are we clear?" The mayor appeared. "Gentlemen, perhaps we should all take a breath." Asher released Kozlov, stepping back. "Mr. Kozlov was just leaving, weren't you, Victor?" In the SUV driving back, Asher was silent, his jaw tight. "He threatened you in public. That can't stand." "Asher, I'm fine. He was just trying to get to you. And it worked. Because you're my weakness now, Layla. Everyone in that room saw it. That makes you a target. Then teach me to be less of one. I'm not some fragile thing that breaks, Asher." Something shifted in his expression, surprise then respect. "You're extraordinary, you know that." At the penthouse, over whiskey, she asked about the warehouse fire. "It happened," Asher said. 15 men died. They were trafficking children, using my shipping routes without my knowledge. When I found out," his voice went cold, "I gave them a choice. turn themselves in, face justice. They chose to fight instead. Layla absorbed this, so Kozlov left out the part where they were monsters. Most people do. They see the violence and stop looking deeper. He met her eyes. Does it change things, knowing what I'm capable of? You've never lied to me, never pretended to be something you're not, and you've protected me and Mia without asking for anything in return. That's worth more than safety. That's trust. Asha crossed to her, cupping her face in both hands. I will never hurt you, never betray you. Never put you in danger I can't protect you from, that's my promise. I know. I'm falling in love with you, I've tried not to. Tried to keep this professional. But I can't, and I won't lie about it. Layla's breath caught. Instead of running, she rose on her toes and kissed him. The kiss started gentle, but quickly deepened into something desperate and consuming. When they finally broke apart, Asha rested his forehead against hers. Stay. Tonight. Just sleep beside me. Let me hold you. Okay, she whispered. They fell asleep tangled together, and for the first time in years, Layla felt truly safe. She woke 3 hours later to find his side of the bed empty, and the sound of his voice hard and cold coming from the living room. I don't care what it takes, find him, and when you do, make sure he understands that threatening her was the last mistake he'll ever make. Layla knew he was talking about Kozlov, knew that people were about to die because of her. She should have been horrified. Instead, she felt something darker, something that whispered that maybe protection and violence were two sides of the same coin. Because in Asha's world, love meant being willing to burn down everything that threatened the people you cared about. The next morning arrived with tension that made breathing difficult. Layla woke to find Asha already dressed on the phone, his voice low and dangerous. She caught fragments. Containment. Message. Permanent solution. When he noticed her awake, his expression softened. He ended the call and sat beside her. Did I wake you? What's happening? What are you planning? Nothing you need to worry about. Don't do that. Don't shut me out to protect me. His jaw tightened. Kozlov made a move last night. One of my warehouses was hit, 3 of my men injured. Because of me, because he saw you lose control at the gala. No, because he's been looking for an excuse to start a war. Asha's hand found hers. But I need you to trust me to handle this. Before Layla could answer, his phone rang. He glanced at the screen and went pale, an expression so foreign on his face that it made her stomach drop. What? When? How long ago? A pause. Lock down everything. I'm on my way. Asha, you're scaring me. It's Mia. Someone took her from the apartment. The world stopped. No, that's not Sandra was with her. Sandra's in the hospital. Someone broke in, knocked her unconscious, and took Mia. He was already moving. I have every available person looking. We'll find her, Layla. I swear to you, we'll find her. This is because of me. Because I work for you. This is because Kozlov is a dead man who doesn't know it yet. The coldness in Asha's voice would have terrified her if she wasn't already drowning in fear. Get dressed. You're coming with me. 20 minutes later, they were in the back of an SUV surrounded by Asha's men. Layla's phone rang, an unknown number. Answer it. Speaker, Asha said. She did. Hello? Ms. Bennett. Kozlov's voice smooth and satisfied. I hope you're having a pleasant morning. Your daughter certainly is. Such a sweet child. Layla felt Asha's hand grip hers so tight it hurt, anchoring her. What do you want? Nothing much. Just for Rain to understand the cost of disrespect. A pause. A trade, perhaps. The girl for Rain's complete withdrawal from the East Side. All territories, all operations. He has 24 hours to decide. The line went dead. Asha immediately made 3 calls in rapid succession. Trace that call. I want every phone record, every surveillance camera, every witness, and get me Marcus Chen. Tell him I'm calling in the favor. Who's Marcus Chen? Layla asked. FBI. He owes me for information I provided last year. Asha's expression was granite. I don't care about territories. I don't care about business. I care about getting Mia back safely. Everything else is negotiable. You'd really give up the East Side? I'd give up everything. For her, for you, without hesitation. They gathered intelligence, surveillance footage, financial records. Layla studied an image. That car. I've seen it before. Where? Outside Sandra's apartment building, 3 days ago. I noticed it because it seemed out of place, too expensive for that neighborhood. You're sure? Positive. I notice cars. You learn to pay attention to what doesn't belong. Within minutes, they had the license plate traced to a property Kozlov owned, a warehouse on the docks. That's it, Asher said with absolute certainty. That's where he has her. The warehouse was surrounded within the hour. Layla watched as Asher coordinated with his men, saw the weapons, the tactical planning. I want to come with you, she said. Absolutely not. She's my daughter. I'm not staying here. Asher's jaw worked. Then he pulled a bulletproof vest from a case, began strapping it on her. You stay behind me. You do exactly what I say, and if I tell you to run, you run, understood? Understood. They moved in fast and silent. Asher's men were professionals, taking out Kozlov's guards with barely a sound. Layla's heart pounded as they cleared room after room. Then she heard it, a child's cry, frightened but defiant. That's her. Layla started forward, but Asher's arm blocked her. Let me clear it first. The next 30 seconds lasted an eternity. Then Asher's voice, clear. She's here. Layla ran into the room and saw Mia huddled in the corner, scared but unharmed. Mommy! She swept her daughter into her arms. I've got you, baby. I've got you. You're safe now. Asher appeared in the doorway, something dark and satisfied in his expression. Kozlov is contained. He won't be a problem anymore. The FBI is on their way. He'll never see the outside of a prison cell again. Later, back at the penthouse with Mia finally asleep in the guest room, Layla and Asher sat in the quiet darkness. I'm sorry, he said. This is my fault. Stop, this is Kozlov's fault. Layla turned to look at him. But I need to know. Can I do this? Can I live in your world knowing that every day could bring danger? No, you can't, not like this. Asher stood, pacing to the windows. I've been thinking about it all day, and I've made a decision. I'm out. Out of what? The criminal side, all of it. I have enough legitimate businesses to keep me busy for 3 lifetimes, enough money to last 10 generations. He turned to face her. I've been doing this out of habit, out of fear that without the power I'd be vulnerable, but today made me realize the real vulnerability is having something to lose. Asher, you can't just walk away from that world. They don't have a choice. I've already made the calls. My territories are being distributed to people I trust. My operations are being shut down or legitimized. By the end of the month, Asher Rain, the crime boss, will cease to exist. And what will you be? He crossed to her, kneeling so they were eye to eye. Yours, if you'll have me. A man trying to deserve a woman and child who already mean more to me than any amount of power ever could. You're serious, completely. I'm 42 years old, Layla. I've spent 20 years building an empire I don't even want anymore. Maybe it's time to build something else, something real, a life, a family. What if I said I need time? Then I wait, as long as it takes. His hands cupped her face. I love you. I love Mia. And I will spend the rest of my life proving that you can trust me, that I'm worth the risk. I love you too. I've been trying not to, but I do. We can be terrified together. He kissed her softly. But we'll also be safe. Protected. And for the first time in either of our lives, we'll have someone who chooses us every single day. Promise me something. Anything. Promise me that 5 years from now, Mia will remember this as the time her life got better, not the time she was kidnapped. I promise she'll have everything she deserves, love, safety, opportunities, and a mother who is cherished the way she should be. 5 years after a Mafia boss watched a restaurant manager scream at a maid and decided that no one would ever diminish her again, Layla stood in their estate watching Mia play with Emma, the sister they'd fostered and then adopted from the same system that had raised Layla. Penny, for your thoughts? Asher's arms came around her from behind. Just thinking about how far we've come, how different everything is. Better? So much better. I have a master's degree now, Mia's thriving, Emma's settling in beautifully. And you became the man I always suspected was hiding under all that danger. I became the man you inspired me to be. There's a difference. He kissed her softly. Thank you for taking a chance on me. Thank you for proving I was right to." She glanced at her wedding ring. "Though I still can't believe you proposed by building me a research lab. You said you wanted to cure diseases and change the world. I just provided the tools." From the yard, Mia's voice called out, "Mum, Dad, we found a fossil, a real fossil." They went together to see, to celebrate, to be present for their daughter's joy. And Layla thought about how a single moment of connection, a moment of a powerful man choosing compassion over indifference, had rewritten the trajectories of multiple lives. She'd learned that safety wasn't about avoiding danger, but about having someone willing to face it with you. That love wasn't always gentle, but it was always worth fighting for. And that sometimes the most dangerous men make the safest havens. "I love you," she told Asha, as they watched their daughters dig for ancient bones. "I love you more, both of you, all of you, my family, my purpose, my redemption." And for the first time in her life, Layla believed that happy endings weren't just for fairy tales. They were for fighters who refused to give up, for survivors who dared to trust, for love that transformed danger into devotion. They were real, and they were hers. This story has reached its end. If it touched your heart in any way, leave a like and share it with someone who also enjoys powerful, emotional stories. New stories are coming soon. Until next time.